Good evening and welcome to CYC News for the 1st of December 2019 and the 21st of Hator 1736 AM. I'm Bishoy Basilius. In today's headlines, the US sends investigators to the UAE and Saudi Arabia to probe weapons violations findings. Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will be indicted on charges of bribery, fraud and breach of trust. Iran warns security forces might act against gas price protests. A massive dust storm has turned an Australian city red. CDC says 67 E. coli infections across 19 states are linked to romaine lettuce. And Robert Lewandowski makes Champions League history as Bayern Munich hammers Red Star. But first, the US State Department and Pentagon are sending teams to the UAE and Saudi Arabia to investigate findings that American-made weaponry has been transferred to rebel fighters and separatist militia in Yemen. In a letter obtained by American news network CNN, the State Department says the continued insufficient responses of both US allies have delayed the probe, which was launched in response to a report by the network earlier this year. This latest letter from the State Department's Bureau of Legislative Affairs is the first update on the progress of the investigation in months. It says that a joint state-Pentagon visit was carried out to the UAE in September to verify what had happened to the MARPs the US supplied. The letter adds that another similar oversight visit to Saudi Arabia is planned for this month, after which the department expects to have a full account of the circumstances related to the disposition of this equipment and any potential violations of the agreements. CNN's ongoing investigation has found that American-made armored vehicles which were sold to the UAE and Saudi Arabia have been transferred, in violation of their agreements with Washington, to groups including Al-Qaeda-linked fighters, Iranian-backed rebels, and separatist militias. These factions have since turned them against the internationally recognized Yemeni government forces, which the US supports. Following CNN's initial reporting in February, the State Department said it had launched a joint investigation with the Pentagon into the unauthorized transfer of weapons in Yemen. To Israel now, where charges of bribery, fraud, and breach of trust have been unveiled against Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in 3 separate corruption cases, marking the first time in the country's history that a sitting PM faces indictment in criminal investigations. During a final pre-indictment hearing in October, Netanyahu's high-powered legal team tried to convince prosecutors to close the cases, including the most serious charge of bribery. Speaking in Jerusalem, Netanyahu vowed to continue to lead the country and described the charges as an attempted coup against a serving prime minister based on fabrications and a tainted, biased investigative process. I will not let the lie triumph. Israel's deadlocked parliament means that a formal indictment may still be months away. The charges are a significant blow to Israel's longest-serving prime minister, who has held the office for a total of more than 13 years. He has proclaimed his innocence ever since the criminal investigations began publicly nearly 3 years ago. Over to Iran now, where the country's Interior Minister Abdulreza Rahmani Faisal has said security forces will act against those protesting a nationwide increase in gas prices if the vandalism continues. Demonstrations erupted in several cities across the country following the announcement by Iran's national oil company of at least a 50% increase in gas prices. Iran's state-run Press TV reported that Rahmani Faisal has acknowledged people's right to protest within the framework of the law, but warned protesters against attempting to undermine the country's security. He said, "Under any circumstances, the country's security and the people's calm are the top priority for the law enforcement and our security and military forces." So far, more than 1,000 protests have been arrested across the country. Back home to Australia now, where last Thursday it looked like Mars in the regional city of Mildura. A dust storm turned the sky bright orange and covered everything in sight. Photos from the city in the state of Victoria look like they had been filtered with a red lens. The dust hit the city around midday, with winds measuring up to 40 kilometers per hour and temperatures hitting nearly 40 degrees Celsius. The same gale-force winds and high temperatures that have contributed to deadly bushfires sweeping across New South Wales and Queensland worsened the conditions. Kevin Parkin of the Bureau of Meteorology said that the red dust is topsoil, which has been loosened by ongoing drought and made easier to kick up in the wind. He said, "Until it rains, we'll see more of these types of events, unfortunately." To some health news, and 67 people have been infected across 19 US states in an E. coli outbreak linked to romaine lettuce, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Officials are investigating lettuce that was harvested from the Salinas, California, warning customers not to eat it and retailers not to sell any from that area. The CDC said that includes whole heads of romaine, organic romaine, hearts of romaine, romaine in salad wraps, and packages of pre-cut lettuce and salad mixes which contain romaine, including baby romaine, spring mix, and Caesar salad. Look for a label showing where the romaine lettuce was grown. It may be printed on the package or on a sticker. If the label says grown in Salinas, don't eat it, throw it away. Restaurants and retailers have also been advised not to serve or sell the lettuce if they cannot confirm it is from outside Salinas. Of the people who have been infected, who range from 3 to 89 years old, 39 have been hospitalized and 6 of them have developed a type of kidney failure. And in sport, wherever Robert Lewandowski goes, records seem to follow him. This season, the Polish striker has a goal-scoring streak that would make even the eyes of Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo water. Against Red Star on Tuesday, Lewandowski scored the fastest Champions League quadruple in history, bagging 4 goals in just 14 minutes and 31 seconds as Bayern ran riot to secure a 6-0 win. The 31-year-old has been one of Europe's best strikers and most prolific goal scorers for the best part of the last decade, though perhaps his exploits have been slightly overshadowed by the numbers posted by Messi and Ronaldo. But, much like fine wine, Lewandowski just seems to get better with age. And that's all for CYC News. A reminder that you can watch this news bulletin again throughout the week on YouTube. I'm Bishoy Basilius from the CYC studios in Sydney, Australia. Have a good night.